What is going on, everybody? Jimbo Thick here. We are back with the Expedition of the Damned, a Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition campaign. I, of course, your DM for the night, Jimbo Thick, and we have the full cast and crew of the expedition here with us. Let's do some brief introductions because I want to get into it. This is going to be an interesting session, I hope. Let's see how the siege goes, what decisions you guys are going to make, and who's going to end up on the floor tonight. Yes, indeed. Let's start off with Pierce Galactic.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Pierce Galactic, your favorite player of your favorite character, Wolfram Kistler, brave man from the north, handgunner, not a handsome man at all, not a smart man either, but damn, he's a good shot. I'm hoping that his good shot will be able to maybe save the day once again, perhaps without using resilience point. And we'll just see. But I'm ready to get blasted, bro.
Indeed. Let's slide on down to Jumbo Smooth.
Hello, everyone. I am Jumbo Smooth. I play Luther Steinhauer. He is a pyromancer in the pyromancer career path. He's 17, maybe 18 years old at this point. I'm not sure how many months have passed since our voyage began.
Quite a few.
Okay. Well, close to 18 at least. Yeah, he's a bright one. He casts fire spells, and he got a fancy new golem last session.
Yes.
And I have named it. If everyone wants to know, is Ignis, my Scorch Guard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Let's slide on over to Nate.
Everybody, Nate, I'll be playing Lucien Levesque, a human duelist wielding rapier and pistol. Having refreshed my leather armor set, ready to get scrappy with some greenskins.
Exactly, get in there. And speaking of getting in there, the Double D, Dan Decker.
All right, hello everyone. Dan Decker here. We're playing North Throat Ripper this evening. He's he's a group's cook and a medic. Notwithstanding that he's an 10.5 foot ogre. And he's got himself a little cook now, little Rory. A little halfling.
Little Rory the Rumstead.
Rory Rumstead, that's right.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, W209.
Yes, I play Henry Bertold, a year younger than whatever.
Year younger.
Than whatever. I'm forgetting the Fire Wizard's name right now.
Oh, it's messed
trying
up.
to level up. I'm trying to level up. I forgot to level up, so I'm doing that in the process. Yes, I'm the youngest member of the party.
It's Luther, you hillbilly.
I didn't want to say Lucian. I knew that wasn't right. A year younger than Luther, also more attractive. And a first knight who has a couple of dudes underneath him now that he commands.
Got some men. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot to level up, so I apologize. I'm trying to do that right now.
You're good. I will allow you to continue as we get into our recap. So, last we left off, the crew of the expedition took your rest and respite after your recent foray into the rescue of Magister Reichenbach, as well as the thwarting of a possible assassination of the Sultan of Lashiek. All of this garnering you praise and attention, as well as revealing some possible nefarious threads that might be interwoven into everyone's storylines. And of course, the also present, what would we call that? Twisting paths that stand before you. In addition to that, as you had finished your endeavors, the expedition regathering, this time gathering all of your resources together to actually set out and finally after months of preparation, after the failed sailing to your initial destination, ending up in this backwater, well, I'd say backwater, but this den of thieves. Lashiek is definitely not a pleasant place to be, and much far off course. The expedition managed, through your efforts, to secure a armored caravan from the Sultan, and you're planning on going overland through the deserts. A very harrowous journey on your way far down south to your next possible destination. We'll see how far you get from there. Regardless, though, before any of that could even take place, before you could even think about your next stop for the expedition, a massive cry rang out throughout your surroundings as White Skull has made its way to the city of Corsairs, as the Greenskin Horde of savage orcs known as the White Skulls that you've been hearing about for quite some time now have made their way all the months down from Kofar, and have made their way to Lashiek itself. Quickly, as the war cry was belted out, you could tell that the city was already surrounded at this point. Despite the savage nature of these greenskin beasts, somehow they are well more organized than some of you would have been led to believe how they act normally. In addition to this, it appears that there is a second, more pressing matter at hand, as a massive horn, a conch, one might say, was blown, revealing a gigantic four-armed, almost dragon-like creature that is still submerged mostly in the ocean itself, as the mighty merworm that you had seen before, with its kind of like disgusting green-scaled, like amphibious kind of like coloration. A gigantic maw and these just massive arms and appendages, as it appeared within the bay where the various docks are around Lashiek, and began to smash and crush ships and ports and everything beneath its mighty girth, assaulting the city from sea, keeping people from fleeing, while the greenskins close in from around outside. The siege has already begun. So, decisions are at your behest right now. Essentially, as we left previously, the expedition was discussing various ways that they might get out of this situation. Magister Reichenbach has been somewhat excusing herself this entire time. She's not been well ever since her capture. Something's been off with her. Luther's been somewhat dealing with her. However, various other members of the expedition have put forth ideas on what they were going to do. If you will remember, Commander Dieter Hellwig of the Knights Panther recommended you just cut your way through. Just cut a path through the horde and flee. Leave everyone, essentially. It will save your resources in the long run if you do so. Every moment you guys spend fighting are losses for the expedition, essentially. So depending on how you guys want to play this will depend on how the rest of this campaign might unfold. So that was Commander Hellwig's proposition. Then you had Magister Aldebrand, who suggested you take the tunnels beneath the city to escape. You might not be able to bring some of the more armored contingents of your caravan with you, but who knows? You haven't been down there long enough to figure out. It's essentially tunnels beneath the city that you guys have somewhat traversed a little bit, not completely. And who knows what else might be down there. But that was the Magister's decision. then you also had Magister Weiss, who was the main proponent of not helping the Sultan in the first place. He wanted to help the Corsairs, the more mercenary-esque individuals that were willing to give you passage over sea to your final destination, possibly a much more safer route, but you decided otherwise. He was quite miffed when the Merworm appeared and began smashing any hopes of his plan working. And Nazaro simply suggested that he was all for the whatever was going to save him his resources, his men, and everything that he's built up so far. We were at somewhat of a decision where you had decided that you were definitely going overland for sure. That was the final decision we made towards the end of the episode. You're more than welcome to change your minds if you need to discuss anything or whatnot, or if you need any more information, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we're going to start getting into events unfolding.
Is there any lesser area of the siege? Now, last session I was very gung-ho about just fighting it out. After what you just said now, I'm not so gung-ho. Is there an area where we can see maybe there's a break between the black goblins and the orcs, and we might be able to take a decent sized group in a fleeing to get away?
So if why don't you give me a perception test, Wolfram?
All right, that's actually something I'm pretty good at, but my first rolls are always terrible. So let's see. Notoriously terrible. As I said, notoriously terrible. So that's a fail, and I'm going to save my fortune points.
Okay. So, you guys are in the upper section currently of Lashiek, and it's somewhat built up here. The walls are quite tall around the entire city, not just the upper section of the city. And from what you can see from your current vantage point, Wolfram, it looks like an endless green tide on the horizon. Now, all the screaming and shouting, nothing is currently charging the walls or anything yet. It's like this is almost like the build-up for what is about to take place. Unfortunately, with a failure, you don't see anything else that's standing out right now. That would help you in your current situation. For now. Does anybody else have any questions? We got nothing.
Luther, sir, what do you think, my lord? He's paralyzed with fear.
Yes.
Okay. He is paralyzed with fear. Okay. Young Henry, now that you are a great knight, perhaps you have an idea of which direction to lead us.
Not a fan of losing all of our equipment. But I feel like leaving the city to its own defenses is not the best choice after what we've done for the Sultan, what the Sultan's done for us. We're about to make a long journey, and I don't want to lose any men. I said I would be content with fighting our way through and making our way on this trek.
Should we try to go underneath the city and through the tunnels to escape?
My concern going underneath is we're not going to be able to take a lot of our baggage. It's not going to fit.
Indeed.
Perhaps we could coordinate with the city guards and defenses If they make one large sortie, perhaps we could follow them, help them punch a hole in the orcish lines. If we move
could
hard and
punch a
fast
hole
enough,
in a
perhaps
lot of
we could
things.
punch through and be on our way.
That's a beautiful idea. We let them distract them, they get massacred, and while the orcs are glutting themselves on their bodies, we can escape.
It's not exactly what I meant, but
That's what I heard, though.
it is within the realm of possibilities.
This is all good speculation, gentlemen. As Nazaro kind of speaks up from behind you. But I think that perhaps we should be putting our resources towards just gathering our equipment. Let's proceed down to the lower section. Currently have the baggage train ready to go towards the west gate. Perhaps we need to move to the southern gate. I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and secure the train for now. The commander apparently is taken up. He has moved to speak with the current general. I don't know his name offhand right now, but whoever is leading the guard right now, it is a clusterfuck in these parts, as you might say. Sir Henry, my friend, if you wish to find your commander, and he gives you directions to where Commander Helwig said, or wherever he suspects Commander Helwig was headed to speak with the current general of Lashiek.
Okay.
If that is what you are putting your resources towards, I'm going to be gathering the men. Let me know what the final decision is, and we will get the orders ready and set. I trust you gentlemen to complete this task. You are my confidants. Do me proud.
I'll make my way towards the commander.
Okay. Are the rest of you going with Henry, or are you going to other places?
I'm going to follow the fellow warriors, so yeah. Head down there behind him.
All right. So the rest of you fall in line behind Henry. Henry, are you mounted?
Probably not.
Oh. Are you walking with your horse?
I'm trying to picture what the scenario is right now. I picture the horse would be like tied up somewhere, like getting
That's up
prepared.
to you. You can have it. It can be done, and you can be ready, or you can not. That's up to you.
I mean, if the streets aren't like super crowded, you know.
There's chaos in the below
Oh.
section of the city.
I'd be walking then.
Okay.
Are there
Yes.
Are there any extra horses that are compound in the upper city? I mean,
Yes.
I think
Oh yeah. Yeah.
with
There's
the
plenty.
exception,
There's
with
plenty
the
of
exception
horses.
of Nog, who can travel, he's fast.
Yes.
We can all ride now.
You can. Now, if you don't have the ride skill, you can still ride, but if you need to make a check, it's going to be bad. Real bad.
I just got the right skill from leveling up, so
Okay,
that's what I'm
well,
thinking
you're
of this,
you're good.
But I don't know about Lucian and Luther.
If you have the skill, there's a certain level of what's the word? There's a certain level of grace you get that you can just do certain things. Whereas if you don't have the skill, you have to make checks, and there's a good chance that your ass is going to be falling down. But yes, anybody you guys can currently ride. There's plenty of horses. The knights have tons of horses at this point. That was actually part of the deal with the Sultan. The Lord Commander got very well outfitted, in addition to gathering some more troops. They actually got quite a bit more in the form of horses and arms and armor.
I'm going to grab a horse and
Okay.
lead
Wolfram's
it
got a
along
horse.
behind Henry.
Henry's got a horse. Lucian, you taking a horse?
So ride is in my basic skills.
Okay. Do you have any
There-
points in it?
I'm not able to take any advances currently.
Okay. Yeah. You have to have a single point in ride for you to get the benefits, unfortunately. But you can still ride a horse. You just can't. You're not going to be like, for instance, if you need to make a quick exit, you're going to have severe penalties compared to everybody else.
I know.
It's up to you.
I know Luther has ride horse.
Yeah. So everybody but Lucien. Nog can't ride a horse. He's too big. He is the horse. As a matter of fact, he's about as fast as a horse, believe it or not. That's as weird as that is. He can cover the distance.
So. I'm gonna stay afoot.
Okay. All right, everybody, gathering, moving, following in behind Henry. It's at this point like the city's in chaos. You watch as you suddenly start hearing thunderous booms. Some of you would recognize the sounds of cannon fire, as it appears that the ships down in the docks are trying to fight back against the massive creature that is assaulting it like Godzilla. And as they do, the creature, you see like holes kind of open up on it. And you see it slowly back away and kind of like sink down into the waves. And as it does, the port goes calm. There's already mass destruction down below. Many of the docks are completely destroyed. Most of the ships are damaged, if not just sunk. But we'll see what happens there for now. But you aren't moving in that direction. You're actually moving down towards. Currently, this is the eastern gate of the city. That leads in the direction of where Kofar is. This is the gate that you guys eventually went into the city from. But as you're heading in that direction, you're having to kind of like push your way through like scared like villagers and just regular people. There's also large contingents of soldiers, of guard, essentially moving back and forth. Some of them don't look like they know what they're doing. Some of them look like they possibly have ideas of what's going on. You guys are more than free to ask any questions as this continues if you need to know anything. But right now there's lots of terror being sown throughout the city for as little that has happened thus far.
To clarify, so the wall has not actually hit the walls of the gates.
It has not yet.
Are there even any missile weapons being thrown? I know goblins love missile weapons.
So currently,
like the rocks or missiles or goblins.
Currently, right now, as you think about that, Wolfram, suddenly you hear a whistling noise. You look up, and you see a gargantuan boulder just flying through the air. Oh! You call out as you look up, and it smashes into one of the nearby structures near you, just explodes outwards. Everybody just kind of like shifts away from it. And you look up, and there are several more coming down around you. Most of you have horses. The Nog's pretty fast. Lucien's the only one on foot.
Can he ride behind Luther or Henry?
Does somebody want to pick Lucien up?
Yeah, because I remember in the last campaign we would share a horse. So
you can't.
Yeah, if we can share another one.
Bragadine was very small, though. Just to say, I mean, it was like
Marius would fall off a horse every time.
I'm also not very big.
That's for Lucien's.
Luther does not have a horse.
You don't have.
You do have a horse. We grabbed one for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You have a horse. You're borrowing.
All right, I'm gonna put my. Okay. If we're getting on the horses, I'm gonna put my hand out to help Lucien up on our horse. So.
Yeah. You grab Lucien, get him up there. All of you can make ride checks except for Nog. You will get a with Henry leading you, since he is a first knight. You will get a +10 to this roll. Nog, you get to make an athletics check. Using
Uno momento.
using strength, not dex.
So
So
just a
which is
straight
gonna
up
be
strength check.
strength plus if you do you have any points in athletics?
Athletics. I have a 52 for athletics.
No, do you have any points in the athletics skill?
Like advances.
Yes.
Yeah, 13.
Okay. So add your strength plus 13.
Okay, so that's going to be a 76.
Yeah, that's better for you. So you go ahead and roll for that one.
What?
He's strong. he's real strong.
Loses the cowboy, bro.
Oh, it must be. I must have a bad hamstring or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. Darn.
Rory's up on your shoulders, Nog.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Trouble.
Oi, there's a big rock right there. Hey,
what?
Quicker, 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 Nog, quicker.
Can't quite make it.
Wish me luck, Lucian.
Yeah. Somebody got a 7.
That was Loser the Cowboy over there.
Luther?
Just James there.
It's 5 levels of success for the noble Luther.
Oh my God.
Man. I hope he gets scarred. That is a crit success.
Crit success for Wolfram. He's killing it.
You in hell.
Henry, I'm assuming the 51 was a pass for you, Henry.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All of you passed except for Nog, unfortunately. And Nog had probably the easiest roll to make. Sadly, he just rolled really bad. With all of you passing, except for Nog, especially Wolfram with the crit. I'll say, I mean, Wolfram did get a crit. And then Rory did call out to Nog, because Rory does have pretty decent vision.
I didn't want Rory to die already.
So, I'll say that Nog, you can either take a little damage, or Rory can take a little damage. It's your choice.
Oh, man. That's a 2 generals problem right there.
That's Rory.
Oh, I'll take a little damage myself.
Okay. All right. It's not going to be much. It's going to be splash damage. You're not going to get hit by a full-on bolter.
Okay. How's that work?
7 damage. 7 wounds, Nog. You can subtract your toughness and armor if you have any armor.
Okay. So that's
Gut plate.
5.
Probably like 1 wound for him.
I'm assuming you're only going to take 1.
Yeah.
And I rolled. That was 2d10, and I rolled low. So
yeah, that's 8. So I'd have to take at least 1.
Yeah, you just take 1. So basically, you scratch for Nog, essentially, as some shrapnel kind of like scatters across him.
That rock sprained me ankle, it did.
Yeah, exactly. And you are not harmed so far. However, with the rocks being thrown, you're not exactly sure where they're coming from, but you hear shouts and cries of alarm. You hear orders as you are getting closer and closer to at this point as you move in the direction of the gate, that there's calls for return fire. And you see that being moved into position in some of these kind of like battlement kind of sections of the upper city that you can kind of see are like massive cannons essentially being wheeled up. They're great cannons. They're huge. They're being pulled by several like kind of like oxen like creatures and men and whatnot, and they're being put into place. And hopefully to deal with whatever kind of artillery fires exchanging between the two forces here. You make your way to the gate at this point. And as you do, you see that there are the walls are completely manned by the guard, the somewhat army of the Sultan right now. On the ground, Henry, you spot first Commander Helwig. His armor very obvious. His large kind of like plumed helm.
Yes.
He's completely armed and armored. Still, he's on his horse. He's speaking to another man who's also on a horse. Looks like a kind of like a guard setup, a guard's like gear, with a massive like two-handed scimitar slung across his back. But he has like a cape and some kind of like decorations kind of on his shoulders. You get the idea this might be an important member. More than likely, this is the general that Nazaro was speaking about. It appears that he's currently having a very heated discussion with Commander Helwig.
But dismount and walking up, probably wait for their discussion to end.
Okay. You begin to approach. As you do, you would see that Commander Helwig kind of like pulls his horse away and looks down and sees you approaching. Henry, you've learned the tongue, correct?
Know a little bit, Commander, as I salute whatever form of salute I have to give.
Talk to this damn heathen for me. I'm done with him. And then he kind of like trots his horse off away.
All right.
The man scowls as he pulls away and then looks down towards you, Henry.
Yes. I turn around and look for Baudry. Baudry! Baudry!
Yeah. Oh, Sir Henry! Sir Henry! So this young kind of Arabian man, well, not so much man, boy. He's probably close to the same age as you, Henry.
I'd imagine
since you're so
be
young.
like 15.
He's like 15, you're 16. He kind of like he comes running up towards you. He's in his full gear right now. He does have like some chainmail armor, essentially. A little sword and a shield. Comes walking up. Master Henry, there's a savage horde outside, sir. What are we going to do? And he looks over. Oh, General. He begins, and he immediately goes into Arabian, speaking to the general, and he kind of like makes like a couple little gestures of deference towards him.
Do I understand any of it?
You do. You would understand. Basically just like being cordial, essentially, as quickly as you can.
Okay.
The general kind of like nods, looks towards the both of you. And where is... Alright, we don't need that. Okay. The general looks down at this point. He dismounts his own horse, kind of like gives like a bow to you. He speaks in Arabian. I am General Radi, Sayyid Radi. I am the commander of the Sultan's forces currently. My predecessor was recently purged by your friends.
That doesn't matter right now. In Arabian, doing my absolute best.
Okay.
Baudry will fill in the blanks for me.
Exactly, yes.
Our plan is to go out the southern gate.
Are you going to help with the defense, or do you flee like coward?
I believe our plan is to cut through, somewhat helping with the defense.
You will either help or you will flee. That is your choice. If you
Well,
wish
right
to
now, I
help, I
believe-
have plenty of work for you.
Right now, I believe we are split. The knights want to attack, use the walls as the anvil as we hammer them from the rear. It is the mercenaries who choose to flee. We're trying to orchestrate a defense between the wizards on the walls, raining fire down on the orcs below.
This is... are you general? Are you in charge of defense?
I believe my rank is a lieutenant.
then you will take orders from General.
I don't take orders from you. I take orders from the commander.
Is this, do you wish to help or not?
I do wish to help. I'm telling you what our plan is.
Good. I tell you, you don't have plan. I have plan.
What is your plan?
What kind of forces do you have? What are you capable of?
You do realize with boulders raining down in the city, this is not a defensible position.
We are dealing with that shortly. The cannonades will come online shortly.
Right? We have mounted knights, we have ranged firepower, and we have magic.
How many men do you have? Knights. This is...
A couple hundred, maybe?
Then you do not have enough.
Damn it.
There are, from what I have been told, there are somewhere around 6,000 orc that we can see.
They were choosing to flee.
No, they are going to siege us. We are going to hold out for as long as possible. However, greenskin dumb. Greenskin break easy if you cut off the head. We start damaging their command structure, if you call it this, and they will fall apart.
The greenskins may be dumb, but the goblins are not so dumb.
Indeed. We have seen many things. Depending on what your troop is capable of. The Sultan is currently hiring many of the mercenary band throughout the city to do tasks to expedite our reversal of fortune. I am manning the walls with the coat of Jinn. We need no wizards here. They will do much better work. We will hold as long as possible. However, they will eventually overrun us by sheer number, especially since we cannot flee through port with the creature about. If you wish to deal with the small ones in the black hoods, we have seen a big conch shell thing that they blow. If you can destroy one of the confidants have said that they could possibly come up with some kind of how do you say this, resource to break shell. If broken, they inform me the creature will leave, will no longer be under control. Or there has been reports that a gigantic pink blob thing with a big one of these small greenskin riding it has been spotted towards the western section, the western wall. It is apparently is their leader. If you take that one down, perhaps the goblin will flee as well. Deny the horde more resource. If these are not within your ability, there's of course those over there. He points out. You see over kind of like up on the mountains nearby, you see 5 large humanoids, and by large I mean gigantic humanoids, in the distance, and they are currently breaking off pieces of the mountain and literally throwing them, as there are a contingent of giants that are hurling rocks of a significant distance into the city, acting as artillery for the greenskin.
Yes.
If you can get over there and stop them, that would be great. That would help us quite a bit. They appear to be just out of range of severe harm from cannonade, but as you will hear, and then there's a sound of explosions as the cannons have come online. You watched like a few of the giants kind of like duck down as the cannons appear to be barely making the distance, but not quite enough to do any significant damage. It is long shot, but we have some defense now for the time being. It will not last. We need to take down giant. Taking down the big boss would be preferable, but probably unlikely. The rest is some kind of a smaller thing out there with boss as well. We think it's what's giving direction. If you could aid in any of these tasks, that would be of great help, unless you are to flee.
If we leave the walls, they're going to get us back in.
If you can come back in safely.
Right. This may be the last time we see each other.
Could be.
Well, we'll aim for your goblin problem. Make sure they don't know about the tunnels beneath the city.
Tunnels?
Yes.
What tunnels?
There's tunnels in the catacombs.
He just stares at you for a moment, Henry. I see. What are you gonna say, Henry?
Well, they don't have. They know Skaven exists, right? It's
They
not the
do.
Empire.
They do. You will remember the Sultan was very adamant that they did not have a Skaven problem.
Yes. You do have a rat problem underneath the city. Let's hope they don't join this party as well.
I can only deal with one problem at a time. If you're to deal with the goblin things as you call them, go to the western gate and talk to Farim. He will give you more detail.
I'll salute the general. And then head my way back to the boys.
Good luck. And he says something to Badri, who's been helping translate back and forth.
Yes.
So Henry, are we going to set outside the gates? Are we going to enter the fray? He looks a little scared.
We have to, Padre, otherwise they're going to destroy the city.
Surely the walls will hold for some time. Maybe we can wait them out.
Well, we haven't heard word from Kofor, and I don't want to stick around and wait. We have to take out the goblins, Padre. Meanwhile, I'm assuming back with the group now. So they're just listening to the conversation with me and Badri.
Yes.
I don't think we have enough strength to take out the giants, but I do think we can crack the goblins. We know what they're capable of. We faced them once.
What about that strange cart that seems to have the horn on it? It seemed important.
Yeah, they want that.
Perhaps the Lutheran might be able to take that from a distance.
I believe the Jinn want to try to break it. He said it controls that sea beast. But that's what they want us to do. The Western Gate, a man named Farim, break the back of the goblins, and then we either leave, continue out into the desert from there. I doubt we'll be able to make it back into the city. I'm open to any other ideas.
It sounds better than nothing. Perhaps we will be able to take out this new goblin leader and his horn that he's so fond of, and save the day, as it were.
Well, this is war, Luther. It's not like
Oh,
what they
of
write about
course.
in the books.
Of course. I'm sure that you. Of course. I forgot how many tours you've served, Henry. And,
Yes, of course.
Tours under his mother's skirt, perhaps, but that's about it.
What was that, Wolfram? Did you care to speak up?
Oh, it's just to hear the inexperienced speak of the experience concerns me. Nevertheless, you are a leader, Henry. Shall we split up and perhaps Luther and I, because we are hit from a distance, try and take out the horn, or shall we stick together?
Well, for now we stick together. We go for the western gate.
Are we to speak to the Jinn first to see if we can break that horn?
Well, the Jinn said they want no.
Luther very much, so.
The general said the Jinn want no help from the wizards.
Very well. Is the horn and the leadership of the goblins two separate places, or is this the same kind of goal?
You're not sure yet. You're going to have to get reconnaissance. However, before you even get that far.
Okay.
Henry, what did he have to say? As the commander strides up on his horse.
He says there's too few of us to take on the orcs. He prefers us to try to break the goblins.
Fine. We can butcher some goblins easy enough.
As I look up, there's probably a boulder, flying over.
Exactly.
He also made a comment about the giants.
If we had a good way of getting over there, I'd love to sink my blade into them.
Well, my hope is that if we break the goblins, and the giants will just leave.
I think you're being a little optimistic, Henry.
How about we take this meal one bite at a time?
I faced the White Skulls once before, if you remember. They're not to be underestimated. I'm dying for vengeance.
Hopefully we'll get some on the goblins first.
Good. All right. I will gather what men I can here. I'll meet you there. Go talk to Nazaro, and if you want, you can talk to the wizards, see what they can do. The Magisters are in a useless state as it is right now. He kind of sneers towards Luther. But we'll probably need him for what's coming. Very well, I'll meet you there. Gather everyone and find out what you can.
Nazar, is that the southern gate?
Yes.
All right, so we have to go there first. All right, to the southern gate.
To expedite this process,
yes,
you're going to be able to find Nazaro, who's then going to speak with all of you about what's coming, and then gathering his men, gathering what resources he can as well. And everyone's going to meet up back at the western gate, since that's the current spot where the expedition is meeting. So, with that being said, when you arrive at the western gate, Henry, asking around for some of the local guard and people in this area, you see that they are currently exchanging volleys of fire with forces outside. There appear to be goblins shooting like arrows and things at them, and then retreating away. They're shooting back, not hitting as many as they should. And it is starting to get later in the day. The sun is beginning to go down at this point. You've been under siege for hours at this point. And you are directed to a man named Farim.
Hey.
Fareem appears to be a guardsman of probably like a captain rank or something, some of that sort. And he says, as he sees you, "Are you the mercenaries I've been told to expect?"
We are.
Good, good. We have a bit of a goblin problem, my friend. We will need you to deal with if you can. My men are quite thin right now. We don't have much reinforcement. There are most of the troops are on the other side, dealing with the current incursion. It appears that the mob has actually begun to assault the walls over there. For some reason, not attacking this way. Strange.
What can you tell us about the goblins? Do you have any information?
I'm not sure how many there are. Quite a lot. They've been appearing out of nowhere, it seems. And they shoot arrow and throw things, and then they disappear again. As far as we can tell, there seems to be a big one. A big pink creature, giant thing with giant mouth, out over there, in that northern direction, over that hillock. I'm assuming that is leader of some kind, riding giant beast. There's also, and you've heard every like hour or so, you hear like this sonorous horn that kind of reverberates the air, and every time it does, the merworm comes out of the water and smashes something before being assaulted back in. That noise is some kind of summoning conch thing. This is what the priest tell me. He gave me this, and it's some kind. You look at it, and it's some kind of like a gold talisman with runes engraved into it. He says that we need someone with a magic ability to activate talisman, and it will shatter the binding if within certain close distance. As far as we can tell, we have narrowed down that to the nearby hills. You would have to get there somehow, my friend, but if you can, that would be a great boon as well.
All right. Well, our goal is to get rid of this goblin problem you're having and make our jobs a lot easier.
We would greatly appreciate it, friends, indeed. And you, of course, will be well compensated for it.
We'll look to Luther, expecting him to grab this magical item.
Somewhat magical, you say, and I'll grab it.
And then I will look to Lucian and Wolfram. You two are the best that we probably have in terms of scouts.
Thank you, Hen.
If possible, it's probably best we know how many goblins we're going into before we just charge recklessly. The other option, Wolfram, as you are one hell of a shot, if you think you can try to snipe this goblin off the back of his squig.
I reckon I could, but not from horseback.
Well, depending on how far your gun has, we can place you in the hills.
Yeah, in fact, if you get me in the hills behind him, I'd probably allow me a better shot. Because we
You would be on your own then.
He wouldn't dodge.
What
What about Lucian? Would he be there to...
I'm going to need Luther to come with me, and I need Lucian's blade.
What about us, Governor? You see, Rory pipes up on Nog's back.
Yeah. I just need Nog to smash.
No, it's right. You'll find out, Rory. We're pretty much just
boss. Yes.
stuff, you know.
Sounds good, boss. Get your top off, boss.
Yeah.
Puts his little his little siphon into your mouth, Nog. And
Oh,
like, gives
no,
it a
no.
couple pumps.
Ah.
Gives you a little top off. Let's keep you
He's
well
always,
fed.
he's always got me. He's always got food for me. You know,
Exactly.
what a good guy. What a good guy.
Or I would recommend if you have somewhere to hide, you might want to do that so you don't get hit by an arrow.
I reckon I'll be all right up here with me best bud. Hey.
I love it. It's got moxie. I love it.
I assume he has some sort of pot on his head.
He does.
Protection.
He does. He's wearing it like a helmet, of course.
That's the plan I have. If anyone has anything better.
Before I go up and risk myself in the hills to try and take out the leader, you did request Lucy and I to scout. Do you want us to move around, or perhaps just some elevation to get a better look?
Yes, if you can ride like hell to get out there and come back just to see what the numbers look like. If it looks impossible, we can just put you in the hills. We'll find out ourselves.
Lucian, you ready?
Let's go.
So I guess we take off.
All right, Wolfram and Lucian getting on horseback.
If you run into trouble, we'll come out there and get you.
Just listen for the gunshot.
I love it.
I'll put Luther on the wall.
So funny. I'm glad this is playing out this way. It's really good. All right. Wolfram and Lucian. You get on, you both get on one horse. And you move over towards the nearest gate.
You can say no.
You can't say no.
Is this possible? What we're describing in the first place?
You could go up on the wall and check and see. Like you could give you a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Thought we were already outside the gate.
Yeah, we're still behind the wall.
No, you're still behind the wall.
Yeah.
Take a leisurely look around.
So Wolfram,
Blast somebody.
You scale the wall. Easily done. And I mean, there's various ladders and whatnot kind of set up right now. As you get up there, you see that there are plenty of guardsmen manning the wall right now. Few of them are injured, and you already see a few dead. And what it looks like is they've been moved, and they're kind of like bodies are being piled up already. It appears that as you get up there, a lot of the guardsmen are hunched down real low, trying to take as much cover as possible, despite not seeing anybody out there. As you approach, one of the guardsmen kind of looks towards you with the big rifle. "Keep your head down, friend," he says in kind of broken Reichspiel. "They use poison arrow. It scratch you, you die."
Thank you for the warning.
You kind of duck down. Give me a perception test, Wolfram.
All right.
Hopefully you do better this time.
Sure do. I'll use a point this time. I think that's only one level of success.
Okay. With a level of success, as you're kind of looking out, with a single level, you do see the kind of like nearby kind of hill. And when I say nearby, it's, I don't know, it's like half a mile away. But it's relatively close, especially on horseback. You could be there in no time. And you do see some movement on the other side. But it's hard to tell numbers-wise what's going on over there. There appears to be no light or anything, like there's no fire or anything going out there, but you would remember that these particular goblin don't need light, really, for seeing. They're quite well adept to darker circumstances. You do see somewhat further past that, and you do see a route that you could take to kind of circumvent the main goblin contingent that you see over here, possibly. That would get you to the small hill, kind of like mountain area where the supposed conch is being held. And you think you could probably lead a small team to go do that if necessary. But assaulting the main goblin forces, from what you can see from here, would be difficult.
Catastrophic.
I wouldn't know about catastrophic, but unless you have experience already with these creatures, and you can tell that there's always more than meets the eye, and more than likely there's going to be traps and various other things at the ready should you just charge headlong in their direction. But you don't see any like artillery pieces or anything like that outside of the conch. That is out of view. You can't actually physically see it. You just have an idea of where it could be.
Where can I sense you see? I may not see any goblin archers, but can I see I know where they are, where the fire is coming from?
You can. So you do actually see some bodies laying out a few hundred feet from the wall. And they appear to be in the same direction of the little hillock where the supposed goblin boss is hanging out. So you get the idea that's probably where their main forces are. These are also sneaky goblins, though, so they could have people all over the place. With your success level, you do also see a few not very well hidden larger green-skinned orc that are just kind of like hanging out in kind of like small bands of about 20 men or 20 orc apiece that are kind of like roaming out on the edges of the kind of like the hill area, just kind of like moving in small contingents as well.
All right, second part of my question. Are these shallow slopes or are they steep where perhaps if I could convince the artillerymen here to raise their fire, they might be able to hit some rock walls and shatter rock down or something like that upon from the goblin orcs?
The hillock kind of area is steeper. It's almost like a very small mountain. That's where the conch is probably being hidden somewhere in there.
Okay.
It's a little bit steeper. Where the goblins apparently are at, they're just kind of like just barely hills, if even hills.
Okay. All right. No good. All right. All right. I'll relay what I see, but I'm going to have to take a breath to think about if I really want to put potentially in my life by going out one man out there to try and shoot it from secrecy. So I'm gonna let the other guys play before I think about that.
Okay. With that information displayed, Wolfram, you begin to turn around to come down.
Is there anything else to be gleaned from this? Like, do I need to make a perception test or?
Sure. Would you like to attempt to learn anything, Lucien?
If there's anything to be learned.
Give me a perception test. We'll see. If you can do better than one success level. A 60. Probably not.
No.
Nope. Okay. Fortunately, you don't gather much more information between the two of you than what Wolfram already has. So Wolfram and Lucien both coming down from the wall. At this point, as you begin to come down, suddenly one of them... Yes. So one of the men... So at this point, some of the Nazaro's men have made it here in advance. So this is some of the basic mercenary, like, militiamen are beginning to show up. This individual, let me roll and see who he's standing next to. He is standing next to Luther. One of the men suddenly cries out, "What the devil is that?" So he kind of looks down. And he looks down at the ground. And he gets really close to it and begins to look down. And suddenly, the kind of like brickwork of the ground gives way underneath him as he screams and falls into a open hole that just opens up. As he falls in, you hear little wailing screams. "Get him, boys!" As sand sneakers begin pouring out of this hole like a horde of ants. Luther's immediately nearby. As they begin to pour out. And that's going to be a good place for to take us first break.
Son of a bitch.